Wolfenstein 3D is a first-person shooter developed by id Software and published by Apogee Software and FormGen for DOS. The game was released in 1992. Wolfenstein is a single-player game. The game was released in 2 sets of 3 episodes as shareware, with the first episodes being available for free to create interest for the players to purchase the full version of the game, and it worked. It is the 3rd version in the Wolfenstein series, as it was inspired by the 1981 Muse Software video game called Castle Wolfenstein. The original Castle Wolfenstein was released in 1981 and is a pioneer of the action-adventure game, developed by Muse Software for the Apple II computer. The game is set during World War II, where the player takes control of an Allied prisoner of war held captive in Castle Wolfenstein. The player's objective is to find a way out to escape from the castle while looking for the Nazi secret war plans. The player will encounter enemy guards and SS stormtroopers who are identifiable by their bulletproof vests. The gameplay is played from the top-down perspective, with the player controlling their character using a keyboard, joystick, or paddles. The game includes 8 difficulty levels corresponding to the player's rank, which increases with each successful escape. The rights to the Wolfenstein name was acquired by id Software, leading to the creation of the first-person shooter Wolfenstein 3D, released in 1992. Wolfenstein 3D has a similar gameplay, as the player controls an Allied spy, William B.J. Blazkowicz, during World War II as he tries to escape from the Nazi prison in Castle Wolfenstein. The game features 3D graphics, where enemies and objects are 2D sprites presented from set angles. The player starts with 3 lives and can gain more. The original DOS version allowed the player to save their progress at any point during the game, but most port-overs only save between levels. The player explores each level to find an elevator to the next level or defeat the final boss, fighting enemies like Nazi soldiers and dogs. You search for hidden doorways in the walls for hidden rooms, which may contain better weapons, medkits, and treasure. On the bottom of the screen, the player will see their information of what floor they're on, score, lives, health, and remaining ammo. You'll also see a black silhouette of the weapon being used. Wolfenstein 3D was released for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System in the United States in March of 1994 and in Europe throughout the year. This port-over was developed by id Software for the Japanese company Imagineer. The Super NES version had some major changes from the original DOS release. This includes serious censorship mandated by Nintendo, such as removing Nazi imagery, replacing German voice clips with English, changing Adolf Hitler to Stadtmeister, and removing the mustache and armband. Even to go as far as replacing enemy German Shepherd dogs with ridiculous giant rats. Even the game's story was altered, and the Master State replaced Nazi Germany. There's also a mission briefing in the game and a helpful map, which is a great addition to the game. On the positive side, the Super NES version introduced some new gameplay elements, including 2 new weapons, a flamethrower and a rocket launcher. This port-over of the Super NES version is considered to be the worst port-over of Wolfenstein 3D due to its low resolution, choppy delayed performance, and pixelated graphics. id Software never released another Wolfenstein game since, as its focus shifted to Doom. The company has licensed the engine to numerous other titles and released the source code for free in 1995. This game is a decent game and a lot of fun. It's challenging with 3 different difficulty settings, although it's not the best version on the Super Nintendo console. In 1992, this was all you had if you didn't own a PC computer. Consoles were just more affordable in the early 1990s. Although the best version of Wolfenstein is the DOS PC version, I would still say you should add this Super NES version to your gaming library, due to how hard it is to find in a complete box set in great condition. For example, a mint condition, complete in box Super Nintendo version of the game sells for over $500 Canadian on eBay. Not bad for a game that's the worst port over on console. A North American version of Wolfenstein 3D game that is complete in box, although acceptable condition, sells for $150. Although finding a new factory-sealed game cartridge is impossible, according to this list, there is a cartridge that sold for $1,800, well above the suggested new price of $425. According to online websites, the loose cartridge price is $52. Complete in box price is $116, and the graded price is $3,680. Love or hate the Super Nintendo version of Wolfenstein 3D, you have to remember that rarity and condition is king, not how good or bad a game is. It is a shame that I didn't hang on to my game cartridge for just a little while longer, to say the least.